drug trafficking, a brutal military, and economic hopelessness. But a breakthrough in digital technology no longer makes huge documentary budgets necessary. No longer is electronic storytelling the sole province of media elites. This documentary is an experiment in the new technology. It is an attempt to find out if what we have been told about places such as Honduras are true. The journey to Honduras involved the search for hope. Tegucigalpa, the capital. Tegus to the people who live there. Busy, noisy, in sunshine or rain. And when soldiers pass by, which is seldom, no one seems to notice or care. Religion remains strong. As does family. Today, and in memory, children are paid to keep the graves of ancestors clean. But it is the children who are cherished most, especially the children. In the city and the countryside. Honduras is a country with a long past and astonishing beauty. There's also poverty, plenty of it. A woman allows the production team to photograph her family. They do not feel comfortable doing so. She seemed to be rocking a small baby. Later, it is learned that the child is 3 years old and very sick. There is no money to see the doctor again. Honduras is a country where children die. An old woman talks about the illnesses which killed 3 of her 7 children. She says she is happy, but when asked about hope, she answers that she doesn't think about such things. Despite the poverty, despite obstacles which sometimes seem steeper than the mountains themselves, there is always hope. Education is based upon the faith that we can do better, that we can improve upon our fate. Rosa Margarita Rivas is a university professor. She knows that all countries, including her own, are not without problems or defects. But she sees teaching as a way of adding to the sum total of those who wish to one day live in an Honduras free of poverty, violence, and children dying needlessly.
When she thinks of hope, she thinks of the future, that Honduras is on a road, and it is a road that does have an end. She sees hope as the driving force that pushes us down that road to arrive at where Honduras wants to be.
Mario E. Martin left home as a young man to study architecture. It was hard to leave a family and a country he loved. He studied in America and in other countries, and when he returned home, he struggled to find an architecture useful to Hondurans, one that applied design principles to the special needs and conditions of his country. He helped found a school of architecture where students learn new ways to develop better housing conditions using local materials. He's asked how he'd like to be remembered, what he'd like his countrymen to say of him one day.
I think the profile so far has been, and I like that profile, that notion, that image that of somebody who is very intense about his professional commitment, somebody who is intense about his cultural identification, about his role as a public servant, and outside of the family, which is always very strong and very important to me. I think that that's the profile, that's the image I want. I certainly cannot aspire to be the big entrepreneur, I've never been a banker, and I've never been a politician, for instance, but I think professionally, and in the sense of caring about causes beyond the normal environment, settlements, urbanization, quality of life is what I would like to crown or to complete, if possible, within the center and within the rest of my professional life.
There are those who come to the city to learn and then bring back their learning to the towns. They choose to sacrifice financial gain. They choose to stay in their country. Nicole Françoise Elios, university educated, works at a radio station in one of the many Honduran towns. She introduced programming for the people of the towns and villages, stories about the past and about the people who live there. She tells her listeners that if they need something, she will try to help.
Realmente es un sacrificio para la gente.
She says she receives letters from those in the villages and remote mountains. It is hard to find paper and someone to write for you, and then you must carry the letter to the town and deliver it by hand. She is asked which one has meant the most to her, and she answers that all the letters matter to her. She tells of a man who asked where he might get some teeth. She's asked if she loves her country, and she answers emphatically, "I love every inch of my country." She's also asked about hope and says she would like to see a country with forests, a country with professionals, professionals who have come out from studying for a degree, professionals who work on the land. She says that hope is the future, but it is also here in the present. We are the hope. When asked what kind of message she would like to give to the people of the United States, Nicole answers, "Never lose hope. There is hope everywhere."
There are also those such as Sotero Cortés Benitez, who walk miles from remote villages to town and back in the same morning to learn better ways to raise his corn, beans, coffee, and rice. Cortés was elected by those in his village to bring back what he has learned so that they can be more productive too.
Being a leader has changed him, he says. He has grown mentally. He has more ideas, and he has a greater vision as to where he wants to go. His dream is to produce more and to gain more for his future. His hope for his 6 children.